Welcome to this video from the Green Screen Project, which is funded by Interreg Europe, working across 8 countries over 5 years to improve policies and achieve measurable success in reducing the carbon footprint of the film and TV industries. My name is Wendy Mitchell. I'm a film journalist, and we're here today talking about the GRID project. Don't worry if you don't know what it is yet. We're going to explain all. It's very exciting. We have with us Michelle Jenkins, who is head of production services at Film London, and Louise Marie Smith, founder of Neptune Environmental Solutions. Michelle, let's start with you. Can you please tell us what is the GRID project?
In very, very basic terms, it's putting an electrical cabinet into a key unit base site and ensuring that productions plug the whole unit base into that cabinet rather than use diesel generators. That's it in a nutshell.
Great. So is it started up yet, or how long has it been going on, and are people using it yet or soon?
We started researching feasibility and trying to work out funding methods, etc., back in, I think it was early 2018. And that took probably a year to do proper research into the value of it, because of course you've got to see how much carbon and NOx and particulates you're saving in the first place. Is it worth it? And also, like I say, how we're going to fund it. So over the past I'd say most of 2020 was spent trying to raise funding for it. And then most of this year, we've started to try to get to implementation stage. We had quite a wide selection of unit-based sites to start with as well. So there's that side of it. We couldn't really start doing 10 straight away. It's quite an unusual project for Film London to do because this is infrastructure. So we've narrowed it down. And at the moment, we're just trying to kick off our very key pilot site, which is Victoria Park in the East End in Tower Hamlets. And so we're focused on that at the moment and getting very, very close to pressing the button on telling some people to dig some big holes.
Exciting. And obviously this is not just Film London. You're working with some great partners. Can you tell us who is involved?
Yeah, so we've been primarily funded by the GLA's Good Growth Fund and of course the Interreg project, because it comes under the banner of Green Screen as well, which has been fantastic. And we've reached out a little bit to get some industry help as well. Of course, we're a key funder ourselves, and also we're working very closely with Tower Hamlets Council as well in terms of all the implementation and the logistics of it.
Great. Louise, you're more of the eco-production expert. So can you tell us a little bit more about, Victoria Park? Why was that a good site to maybe start with?
Yeah, sure. So the reason Victoria Park was chosen is basically the feasibility study that Michelle was discussing earlier looked at what the most heavily used unit bases in London are based on how many filming days they had recorded over a set period of time. And Victoria Park, I think, came out actually top of the ones that we kind of had narrowed down as good places to start. So the other reason that makes Victoria Park a really great candidate for this is that it's in a park. So the environment that we're kind of putting capital infrastructure in, we've got plenty of space, and Tower Hamlets have been really supportive of the project. So there were kind of a few reasons, but it is a heavily used base. So we wanted to get the most bang for our buck, I suppose. You want to make sure if we're going to install this thing that it's going to be used as much as possible.
Great. And Louise, how practically, once the cabinet is sort of live and usable, how will productions use it? I mean, do you have to apply to use it? Do you show up and plug in? How does it work?
So we've put quite a lot of, again, with our feasibility study, we've got a really great industry advisory group. So that's a group of location managers, unit managers, transport captains and facilities captains. So what the cabinet is, how much power it has, what it looks like, which sockets are available, all of that has been done in unison with the industry to make sure that if we're going to install this cabinet and ask the industry to use it, we really need to make sure that it delivers on what they need. So the capacity of it should power a large, huge feature and anything below that. As far as how to use it, so as the unit base arrives, it will be part of kind of the film permit. So the film office will manage handing over the keys, as it were.
Okay, great. And Michelle, it sounds like this is not just going to be this one cabinet. What are the plans for more? What could the future hold for this project?
Yeah, I mean, we've got 2 other key sites that we're working with. But what we really wanted to do is get this one underground and test it, because you just know you never get it perfectly correct the first time. So this is very much the test site, and then we want to proceed on to the other sites. We've certainly been talking to the Mall on St James's Park as a key site, in Battersea Park, which is kind of the sister park to Victoria Park down in the southwest in Battersea. That's very heavily used, got a couple of unit bases there as well. So those are the sort of 2 other key sites we're talking to at the moment as well. And ideally, we'd then like to sort of spin it out, show all our findings, let local authorities know what their options are, potentially if they want to start investing, and other key organisations as well.
Great. And, Louise, I know you work not just with British companies, you work in the States and maybe with Europe. Is there international attention on what's happening with this first cabinet in Victoria Park? And, are international partners keen to see what happens with this?
Absolutely, yeah. I think specifically, I work a lot with Inward Investment with the US studios, who have a group called SPA, so the Sustainable Production Alliance. And the members of that group have been really supportive. We've met with them and discussed it. They're really excited about the possibilities of it, because, it's just not sustainable to keep having diesel generators in built up areas in town. And we really want an alternative. And this is it. We can't ask productions not to bring a diesel generator if we're not helping them to provide an alternative. So I think they'll be really keen to see how this goes.
And Louise, if we look at the sort of big picture, why is something like this grid project or just using renewable energy so important to the future of the film industry and the TV industry, do you think?
I think it's not only the environmental benefit we get from this. Just from Victoria Park in a year, we should save 170 tons of CO2. It's the particulate matters and the nitrous oxides, which are horrible for health, that you would expect from a diesel generator. They will be removed. There'll be zilch from this cabinet. There's the noise aspect, the vibration. So local communities, as well as the crew that are sitting on this unit base working, that there's more than just kind of the environmental aspect. There is the health aspect as well. And sound teams are going to love not having to hear a generator too, so there's some practical aspect of that that's great as well. I think bigger picture as well, we're looking at one cabinet here and we've got a feasibility study to put numbers. If you multiply that by the number of unit bases that on any given day that are shooting just in London, you can start to see how these impacts build up, and we need cleaner air in London. And so this is one of the really practical ways that as an industry we can help.
There's also the added element of, although these of course are fixed sites, so they're only really going to sort out unit bases or filming that's going to happen exactly on those, which not a lot of filming happens right by a unit base. But the other use that's coming through is that the battery packs that are starting to be used a little bit more on location now need recharging. Where are they going to recharge? The idea is that they come and recharge probably overnight back at our cabinet. So there's that multi-use aspect. We acknowledge it's a fixed point in the ground. And of course, a film crew is a moving circus. But, the bits and pieces that move around with them need to go back to base to recharge. So that's the additional effect that we hope it's hopefully more than 170 tons of carbon that are saved at the end of the day.
Wonderful. And Michelle, if people want to find out more information or about, how they could, start to fund their own cabinet, how can people find out more information about the project?
Well, we'll do a review. In fact, Louise is tasked with sort of reviewing and evaluating the project per se anyway. We'll be doing a lot of training when we launch the first site, hopefully spring next year, to make sure that people are aware of it, understand it, people can use it, etc. So we'll be doing quite a lot of training, and we'll be doing sort of green training for young people around that sort of launch as well. So there's a lot of push when we launch for the actual site itself, but generally otherwise either contact us or of course on our website, and Interreg's website as well highlights our elements of the green screen project overall, including the grid.
Sounds like the project is off to a great start. We can't wait to see it operational, and that will hopefully be spring 2022. Is that right, Michelle?
That's what we're aiming for. I mean, it does involve digging big trenches in the ground, so you never know. We all know, if you live in London, you know what that involves. But yes, that's what the target is at the moment, yeah.
Okay, great. We look forward to hearing more and celebrating it when it goes live. And hopefully this is a great step forward for the industry. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you.